DNA, the flow of information of the body. We think of information as thought processes, but we only utilize so much of the mind's potential. The eyes alone are decoding and transmitting tens of thousands of messages every second. Break that down to microseconds, and still remains over 10,000 plus messages. Think of how many thoughts you might think in an average hour. Of course, depending on what you're doing defines this in various ways. The mind is being constantly stimulated whether we are aware or not. We do not make our mind work. Instead, we are the ones to unlock and evolve our own minds. The body runs on food, not entirely by our control like our thoughts. The DNA is the network of the entire makeup of the body. The strands consistent of links to our genetic codes. We are all unique. Don't let so many similar examples of how people react and distract you from what is the real message in uniqueness. We all evolve. The reality is that everything improves. The way we evolve is dependent, however, and ironically, on our thought progression and our ultimate standing in awareness. At some point in our consciousness, we do become able to, in a way, control how our mind works. However, it's more of a process of becoming naturally balanced with frequencies of the collective universe. The universe isn't desolate or non-living. If the very universe wasn't intelligent and self-aware, then nothing would be able to sustain life in the cosmos. Galaxies wouldn't exist. Matter can't truly exist if there's no intelligence for atoms to even be generated. The process of evolution is the actuality of these elements: awareness, consciousness, understanding, time-lapse for realization to set in and process, and mental thought depths. These are challenges we all set, either chosen or by chance, such as a random occurrence that needs critical thinking at an immediate rate. Not everyone has a surprisingly ecstatic life full of unreal events and catastrophic mindsets that die and then the self is rebirthed. Thus, this process isn't fully captivated in a lifetime. Everything blooms and dies and is rebirthed. We are all reincarnated. There is no realistic sense in one life and then a chosen realm of either heaven or hell or whatever your religious preference is. Evolution of the DNA is the stage where information to the mind, body, spirit, third eye, Godhead, and God's self is discovered. Discovered in our interpretation, but a presence that was already there, just deeply embedded. The irony in religion is that they claim they feel God. Why is the feeling so close and, quote, felt inside rather than outside the body? The answer is simple: the power of the imagination. The imagination is infinite. You have to imagine to generate inventions, creative thoughts of all types, music, poetry. All of this is imagined. Art is the most perfect example. To have no creativity at all means a blank paper reality and personality. Few are like this. Those who are, there are so very few still. We all have a sense of creativity, or inspired to admire, enjoy creativity of all sorts. This depicts who are the observers, the listeners, and the creators of their own unique personality and awareness of expressions. We aren't beings who are lost. We are heavily distracted by the countless messages in the world. There's no official break for the world to rest. Stand back and express the issues of the big picture. Everything is non-stop, consistent, and ever-changing. Money runs the world ultimately, not philosophy or an evolutionary direction. This is the non-stop pace of reality. How it is consistently and constantly a trampling of our desire and desires to be as free as possible, along with freedom from slave jobs. Yes, slaves. If you don't work, you go homeless, and that equals death. So work or die. That's the world in a nutshell. Mankind is easily better than this. It's unfortunate, though, because not enough world leaders are truly interested in this realization. If they were, this video would have no point in this present time. And there'd be no justifications for their actions upon the world and living. Food would not be a problem. Food would be ever plentiful. There would never be a standstill in progress of mentality, philosophy, and real school education. Entertainment would not be the icon for television, but knowledge, progressive inventions, innovations, and so many potentials you can only imagine that would come to pass if the government was not in control of the world, or rather allowed a simplistic control for the world to thrive infinitely. So we are dominated by greed. Money alone drives everyone's life in this reality. Does that make it the right reality? And does that explain the unexplainable? When higher dimensions exist, we are in the third dimension. However, we are aware of the fourth dimension. Despite how we live our lives, existence, the universe constantly spins, promoting non-stop evolutionary advancements in life that we have no idea exists. So despite our reality bubble, the cosmos still conjures the unexplained activities, both in our solar system and others. So who's to say that what we know is official, and this reality as the most universal, flawless system out there? Is that even possibly, or even a possibility of a conjured concept to equal any logical reasoning by any and all means? In existence, we see a cycle of progress. The world does not stop spinning because so many are bleak and doomed, nor does the world stop raining upon us with its clouds because we are so full of darkness, rather than illumination of our own realizations in the cosmos. Does the galaxy or the Milky Way stop sparkling? Do stars fall out of the sky when our worlds are just that, crumbling? Does the world weep when we weep? In an ironic sense, that is true. However, we are not the ones that can destroy such a beautiful creation. However, government control in this world allows us to believe that time is against us, and by 2012, we're all gonna die. By just looking at that alone, we are the ones to save ourselves. The cosmos is ever plentiful. There is no world that is meant for disillusion or deterioration of the spirit. The spirit is infinite, just as the cosmos is. The imagination is infinite, just as the cosmos is. Reality is limited by the means of how the world is ran, and the world within the minds of those who believe in the leaders that run the world with money, which is the main issue. If money were obsolete and completely understood by everyone to not be used, the world government could be toppled. They will not have a chance to rule the world in such a way that they desire. Instead, humanity is becoming the ironic reality that they chose at one point to not live, such as the masses, mainstream media. These people are realizing because of the times being pressed and compressed in such a way that we are being forced to think outside of the box. So therefore, the new reality is not going to be containment, it's not going to be limited, or even something we can conjure in our own minds, however we can imagine and dream it. The new reality will be an infinite possibility. I would suggest the idea of questioning the nature of human life, as in, are we the only ones alive? Why would anyone consider any sarcasm in UFOs when we look at the government, we look at the economy, we look at what Obama's saying? He's saying promises and so many wonderful things for the world. Look at Iran. Look at the amendments. Why are police having so much control? Why is the Iraq war continuing? Why, instead of, oh, I get it. Why over suggestions